Boris Johnson is in intensive care. The British Prime Minister's coronavirus infection worsened after he was hospitalised over the weekend, though he remains conscious. Britain now enters a critical period. Scientists predict the outbreak will peak in the next 7 to 10 days. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab is temporarily running the government.
Well, the government's business will continue, and the Prime Minister is in safe hands with a brilliant team at St Thomas's Hospital, and the focus of the government will continue to be on making sure, at the Prime Minister's direction, all the plans for making sure that we can defeat coronavirus and pull the country through this challenge will be taken forward.
Joining us with more is Bloomberg's Executive Editor for International Government, Rosalind Mattison. Ros, thanks so much for joining us. So what else do we know about the state of the Prime Minister's health?
Well, as you said, he has been in hospital since Sunday. His condition worsened and he was sent because he's had a persistently high temperature and a cough. Of course, he's been battling the virus for at least 10 days now. He was isolating at home in Downing Street with his meals and key documents left outside the door of his apartment. He was attending meetings virtually, but clearly from the selfie videos he was putting out, he was very unwell. Now we know he's been transferred to the intensive care unit, conscious, as you say, but as a precaution in case he needs ventilation. We know he's on oxygen. They say right now he's not on a ventilator. Of course, there's been a pattern for some virus patients where around the 7 to 10 day mark they take a turn for the worse, and that can happen very quickly. So clearly he's unwell, but right now they're saying that this was a precautionary measure.
OK, so the gentleman that is now running the country is Dominic Raab. He is in charge. What do we know of Raab? What kind of person is he? What's his background? And what can we expect?
Well, he's known, of course, for tussling with the then leader, Theresa May, over Brexit. He's a lawyer by trade. He's untested, of course, in this moment, and he was a candidate for the Conservative Party leadership last year, one of the few who in the end fell behind Boris Johnson and supported him. But that said, he's coming into this role temporarily at a time of real crisis in the UK about the management of the coronavirus. Of course, there's been big questions around the approach taken by the UK, not to test people. And he's coming in and having to chair daily meetings at a time when the scientists are saying it could peak still in 7 to 10 days from now. And at least 5,000 people, of course, have already died. There are shortages of workers, of vital medical kits, and real questions about how the UK manages its way through the rest of this, at a time, of course, when we're also seeing tensions within the government just about how to manage the crisis.
Yeah, exactly, Rosalind. The Prime Minister's hospitalisation coming with the UK facing serious questions, as you say, about managing COVID-19, PPE for doctors, and also the economic price of lockdown. So what does this mean for the UK's fight against the virus in the next few weeks then? Because we are still waiting for the peak, as you've outlined.
Well, that's right. And of course, the government said that we'd be on initially a 3-week lockdown, and that would be coming to a close at the end of this week. And there are questions then to them about, do we come out of the lockdown? Do we come out entirely? Do some measures come out initially? Of course, we've seen some initial warnings from them that it might be extended, that schools might stay closed for longer. So there's those questions too. And as we've seen, there is actually quite a debate going on between the economic managers within the government and what you think of as the health managers within the government about how quickly to lift those steps, because there is at the same time the imperative to limit the damage to the economy, to businesses and particularly to individual workers. So you've got to balance that against the need to keep people safe and to avoid a respike in infections if you lift things too quickly. So those are the fundamental questions they're going to be grappling with over the next week. On top of that, Raab just simply has to keep things together at daily briefings, meeting with health officials and scientists, all at the time that there is this high level of concern more broadly about Boris Johnson's health.